Hi, welcome to today's video. My name's Paul. So today is a landscape again. It's an autumnal sort of landscape. So the color palette that I'm using is a little bit different to what I would normally use. You can see I've already done a sort of underpainting in Prussian blue. The Prussian blue is a very dark blue. It's almost black. It's so dark. You can see under the trees there, sort of the center right, there's a patch of really dark paint, which is basically just the undiluted paint. Like any watercolor, of course, as you mix more water with it, the pigment becomes more diluted, and so the color value decreases. And basically it becomes a lighter color. This technique, so if you've watched any of my recent videos, you'll see I often use a wet technique. So you're putting wet paint on top of wet paper or on top of other wet paint. This way I'm doing this one is different. The underpainting, the blue underpainting, is dry. So this is more, technically it's called glazing, when you put one layer of sort of transparent paint on top of another paint that's already dried. You can get different effects. It's not that one technique is better than another technique, it's just the results that you get are different. So you choose whichever technique is going to give you the results that you want. With the glazing, putting the yellow, which is somewhat transparent, on top of the blue, they start to blend, and you get a slight sort of greenish tint coming through. So it's another way of sort of mixing paint. What I'm doing at the moment is just dabbing on pure cadmium yellow paint. Dabbing on the paint and things creates a sort of implied detail. People can read that as maybe wildflowers, it could be leaves on a tree, grasses, that type of thing. The style of painting that I like, Impressionist style, uses more implied details rather than actual painting in of details. Now, because this is a more sort of autumnal scene, I am going to be using colors that I don't often use. So at the moment it's blues and yellows, which of course mix to give some greens as well. And that's my usual palette, quite a limited palette. But I'm also going to be using some purples. You can see me putting on the purple here. I'll also be using some red, and I think some orange as well. So for me, using maybe 6 different colors is a lot. I wouldn't normally use that many colors. One of the advantages of a limited palette is that it actually makes things easier. It's easier to create a more harmonious composition if you have a limited palette. When you have lots of colors, you have lots of choices to make, and that makes the whole process a little bit more complicated. That's why I would always advise somebody getting started out in watercolor pick 2 or 3 colors that you like and just try and create paintings with those colors. It's a bit like, if you like to think of it as your personal wardrobe. If you have lots and lots of clothes, every day you've got to make choices what to wear. On the other hand, if you have only a few clothes, well, the choice is easier. You'll also notice in this painting I'm leaving quite a few unpainted parts of paper, so you can see the white paper coming through in different parts. Again, this is all sort of the impressionist style that I try and use. The white paper coming through, when you step back from the painting, can suggest details, highlights, that type of thing. This is a scan of the final painting. So as I say, the goal was to try and create a more autumnal sort of feel, just through using different colors. Okay, if you'd like to subscribe, just click on the big red button below, and hope to see you in the next video.